Actually, there's one interesting point for us as journalists and so on. That is that just see how much importance we attach to persons merely because they are in office. You look at our friends, sort of recently, who were in office till recently. आज बेचारे आनंद शर्मा को फिक्की वाले बुलाते ही नहीं हैं, कमलनाथ की कोई बात ही नहीं सुनता, even Jairam Ramesh. And yesterday, everything they said was, dissected and bisected. So it is a weakness of India, I think, in which so much of our sort of newspaper space, our television तो कोई देखना नहीं चाहिए, मगर our sort of mental space is occupied by these ephemeral people and what they have said yesterday. I've been requesting everybody that please, scientific bodies meet, conferences are held, and some minister presides or inaugurates. If he were not a minister, would you call him? I have never had an answer saying yes. So, government कर रही है. I don't want to use harsh words, but the general consensus seems to be that when all is said and done, more is said than done. That's the general consensus. I'm sure there are sincere efforts and so on, and maybe at some stage they will yield results, but Akbar Ilhabadi, there's a couplet of Akbar Ilhabadi in which he says कि वो प्लेटों के आने की आवाज़ तो आ रही है, मगर खाना नहीं आ रहा. Sir, actually I feel there's a fundamental point, and that is that the point is that every government, including this government, the focus is on announcing new schemes. And in a sense, each scheme adds another task to the hands of the government, to the hands of the state. But in India, the state is the weaker part of our being. Society is much healthier, families are strong. But we have become accustomed to looking to the state to give us, now I was reading probably in the Express that there will be health insurance for all. So employment, but the state is not able to discharge those functions. But we keep piling them on the state. And the state is very, the people who happen to be in office at a particular time think that their marks will be by the number of schemes that they have announced. That is one side. On the other side, we, in spite of all the talk, we do not attach importance to the state, to the functioning of the state, to the personnel in the state, to the institutions of the state, to the rules by abiding by which alone can the state function. So also now, as I said, I don't want to use strong words, but if you see last government, any government in India, what kind of personnel do they choose for various institutions? Does it show that they really attach importance to the institution and therefore to the state? Governors. Is another parking lot. So, is this... so, on the one side, we go on imposing tasks on the state, and on the other side, we do not attach importance to the state. This pattern has to be reversed. It's the central point about reforms. In the sense that we always think of reforms as one scheme. GST आएगा या नहीं आएगा, insurance bill pass होगा या नहीं होगा. But the real theme of reforms has been to reduce the role of the state in our lives. But we continue to do the opposite. That is why things don't happen. I read, I don't know whose article, in which paper there was an article, and rationalizations develop for this. Something about, somebody was commenting on Mr. Modi's team or cabinet. He said, no, but there is the Pareto rule, that actually speaking, institutions and governments and movements and everything are run only by 20%. So you only have to have 20% who are good, the rest though. Well, I'm sure there is an equally hoary proverb that Raj will remind us of, that the strength of a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So which is the, what do you call, which is the post which is not important, which is the level which is not important? But we seem to think कि 2-3 ministry ठीक आदमी लगा दो, बाकी ठीक है. You see, even today, the main instrument on which reliance has been placed is the bureaucracy. Isn't it? That's the sort of, that's the wisdom which has been projected. But firstly, the bureaucracy is not what it was 30, 40 years ago. You don't have L.K. Jhas, you don't have Dharamveeras, you don't have B.K. Nehrus, you don't have Mr. L.P. Singh. Those are not the civil servants. The second, those civil servants today, because of the previous 10 years, are really, maybe they are acting and I don't know, but the civil servants who have met me certainly said, "Na Baba, I am going to retire in 1.5, 2 years. 10 years after my retirement, I'll be subjected to some CBI inspector. So why should I take a decision? Let the minister take it, let the law ministry take it, let's consult state governments." So a few enthusiastic civil servants are going on. But many persons, seeing the fate of Bhave, of Parak, of Bajal, they say, "Baba, na." Third thing is that you say, okay, I'll still rely on the civil services and so on, but I will induct experts. But that you can only do, that can only be effective if you do it in a critical mass. And if you actually put them not in sort of decorative advisory positions, but in positions where they will decide. उसका तो अभी कोई है नहीं. So, in response to your question, why doesn't it happen? We go on loading the state with functions, we do not attach importance to the state, and we do not attach, and the principal instrument on which we rely is not now an instrument which can deliver.